Hello and welcome to Galaxy TV's Primetime News. My name is Iribami Salako. We begin with headlines. President Bola Tinubu appoints Shamsuddin Babatunde Ogunjimi as the new Accountant General of the Federation after a rigorous selection process. Plus, on the news, Lagos State Special Offences Court in Ikeja remands Jude Okoye for alleged theft of $1 million and £34,537,000. From the international scene, Ukrainians voiced their shock and dismay at the US forcing its military aid to the country. What one politician called a dangerous situation. Details of these and more coming your way soon. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now, details of the news. President Bola Tinubu has appointed Shamsuddin Babatunde Ogunjimi as the new Accountant General of the Federation after a rigorous selection process. Bayo Ononuga, Special Advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, in a statement said his appointment, approved, takes effect from 7th March 2025, the same day the incumbent Oluwatoyin Madeyin will retire. Ogunjimi, 57, was first named as Madeyin's successor last December. The selection committee later chose him through a competitive, rigorous and merit-based process involving directors of accounts in the Federal Civil Service. The selection process underscores President Tinubu's commitment to promoting transparency, excellence and competence in key public service positions. President Tinubu congratulates Ogunjimi on his appointment and urges him to discharge his duties in the service of Nigeria with integrity, professionalism and dedication to Nigeria's service. The leader of the Senate, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, on Tuesday read out the accomplishment of the 10th National Assembly, saying the upper chamber had been passing diverse laws aimed at creating an environment for economic competitiveness and positioning Nigeria for a $1 trillion economy by 2030. Bamidele, currently representing Ekiti Central, added that many of these legislative initiatives are already making a difference in the daily lives of the citizenry and collective prosperity of the country. He made these remarks at a meeting with the delegation of the United Kingdom Parliament held at the conference room, New Senate Wing, National Assembly Complex, Abuja. At a session with members of the UK Parliament, Bamidele explained that the National Assembly would continue to play pivotal roles in building a resilient economy and functional political system which guarantees the security of citizenry. In her own presentation, the leader of the delegation, Kate Osamo, solicited for inclusion of more women in the National Assembly to address existing gender gaps in the nation's electoral offices. The House of Representatives Public Account Committee, PAC, has criticized several oil companies for failing to honor invitation to address their outstanding debt to the Federation, despite public summons. Only one of the 9 invited companies appeared before the committee on March 3, 2025. The absentees include ADAX Petroleum, ITO Group, Aligrace Energy, Amalgamated Oil Company, Abner International Petroleum, Bellamar Oil Built-in Energy, Britannia U, and Watersmith Petroman Investigation. Subcommittee Chairman Honorable Isiaka Akinlade warned that the company's refusal to settle their obligation threatens Nigeria's ability to fund its 54.9 trillion naira budget. Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission NUPRC representative Balarabe Aruna reviewed the total debt of $506.5 million with Amna International, owing $434.9 million, followed by ATO owing $34.8 million and ADAX owing $17.5 million. Other companies also offer crude oil, gas, flares and concession rentals. The park has given the defaulters 72 hours to appear and justify the debt or face directives for immediate payment.
Only Bedman oil producing company appeared before the committee today, and what they are owing the federation account is $977,000 on oil royalty, 511 $100,000 on gas flare and $213 on processor rental. Honorable colleagues, we will recall that 2 weeks ago, the two chambers of the National Assembly passed a bill budget for 54.9 trillion naira, and this was signed into law a few days ago by Mr. President.
Still with the Green Chamber, the House of Representatives has called on the digital satellite provider MultiChoice to suspend the increase in subscription rate. Less than 2 weeks ago, Nigerians woke up to the news of a 20 to 25% increase in the subscription rate of MultiChoice services. Correspondent in Nabuchi sent in details in this report. The company had announced the price hike of all its packages, citing prevailing economic challenges, which it said led to the increased operational cost. The increase sparked public outcry, topping discussions on the floor of the House. Edo State member Honorable Esosa Yahweh, in the motion of urgent national importance, sought to halt to the increase. He wants the House to probe the alleged arbitrary prices by the organization.
The House is worried that most recent hike in subscription prices announcements has triggered widespread criticisms from subscribers, many whom have taken to social media to express their frustration over frequent price hikes without a corresponding improvement in service quality and the seeming aloof stance of the government towards this situation.
The lower chamber also read for the second time a bill to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act to review the functions of polytechnics, sponsored by the Speaker, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, and Lagos member, Honorable Fuad Laguda. The bill seeks to address the challenge of dichotomy between polytechnics and universities.
Is to amend the Section 3 of the Principal Act to include representative of Nigerian Board of Technical Education, NBTE, and MAN in the Council of every polytechnic in Nigeria. The Clause 3 is to amend the Section 8, which is to seek to raise the bar in respect of qualification of those seeking to occupy the position of rectors in the Federal Polytechnic of Nigeria. The Clause 4 is to amend the Section 15 of Principal Act, which is seek to enlarge the powers of Academic Board to, among other awards, Bachelor of Technology, BTech honors.
On the issue of HND degree dichotomy, their own position, which is taken collectively as a board comprising the whole entire polytechnics in the country, is that we should move for the abolishment of HND, and in place of it to have Bachelor of Technology as a replacement, so that at least graduates of polytechnics will be able to compete hand in hand with other universities. And at the same time, they are proposing for a hybrid supervision, where the degree component of the polytechnic education will be handled by NUC, while the diploma, ND, National Diploma, will continue to be handled by NBTE.
A motion calling on government at all levels to pay serious attention to the management of waste pollution and its impacts on health and the environment was also adopted by the lawmakers. Sponsor of the bill, Honorable Julius Pandey, however, called for collaboration among all government agencies for effective waste management in the country.
The House is worried that the consequences of continued neglect of our environment could result in, as it had often been the case, serious health challenges for our people, all in addition to degeneration of the nation's ecosystem, loss of agricultural productivity, and environmental degradation, especially in the coastal region of the country.
More legislative activities will be taken when the House reconvene on Wednesday. Moving on to other stories, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has endorsed the seat reservation bill for women in Parliament, urging the National Assembly to pass it into law. Sponsored by Deputy Speaker Honorable Benjamin Okezie-Kalu, the bill aims to ensure at least 35% of legislative and executive seats are occupied by women. Speaking at the Art for Governance exhibition in Abuja, Senator Tinubu, represented by Adia Fatima Tajuddin Abbas, highlighted the importance of female leadership in shaping Nigeria's future.
I am committed to supporting initiatives that promote gender inclusion, women's empowerment, and national building. This has been my mission during my First Lady of Lagos State as a senator and now as the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I firmly believe in the importance of women's voices in governance.
As we look ahead, let us remember that nation building requires the active participation of all citizens, both men and women. It requires listening to voices that have long been marginalized, of creating pathways for their full inclusion in governance.
And I also want to say that please, I want to use this medium to cry out loud to our political parties. We need political party reforms. I want to heartily commend the Speaker of the House of Representatives for recently ensuring that the National Executive Council of our party included some of our women in the NEC. That is the highest body of the political party.
Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu decried the systemic underrepresentation of women in politics, noting that the Constitution Alteration Bill 2024, popularly known as the Additional 6 Bill, is a step forward towards justice. He described the exhibition as more than a cultural movement, calling it an advocacy tool to mobilize support for legislative change.
It was about passing a bill, but about shaping a legacy, about having a periscopic look in the room when policies are formulated. Through the spectacles of the men and the spectacles of the women, the lenses will see better. That is why we are here. You are here to be counted. Not because you are women, but because you are men, but because you are Nigerians who want to have a nation whose policies and laws is blind to gender.
You're still out to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. ASUU calls the National Assembly to reconsider the decision to scrap tertiary education trust fund in interest of educational development in Nigeria. Details of that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updated latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvalign.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page as Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Now, moving on to other stories. A Lagos State Special Offences Court in Ikeja has remanded Jude Okoye, the elder brother of Peter and Paul Okoye, who is the former manager of the hip-hop artist of the defunct music group P-Square, for theft of $1 million and £34,537. Galaxy News correspondent Lebi Joseph was there and provided this report.
Jude Okoye is facing a fresh charge of alleged theft of more than $1.1 million and £34,537 before Justice Rahman Oshodi of the Lagos State Special Offences Court. Jude, alongside his company Northside Music Limited, had earlier been arraigned by EFCC last week at the Federal High Court in Ikoyi over the same charge and was subsequently granted bail yesterday. The bail application for Jude Okoye suffered a setback at the court today, and Justice Rahman Oshodi remanded him in Ikoyi prisons, where he is currently being held pending the hearing of his bail application this Thursday, 6th of March.
We show at the trial that the dispute has to do with dispute of directors, and that this charge in the first place shouldn't have been filed. It shouldn't have been filed. And all of us, at least every Nigerian, is concerned that this matter is in court. And of course, all of you are aware that a lot of efforts have been made in the past to have this matter resolved, but the complainant has refused to allow anybody to resolve this. He has been recalcitrant. He has not allowed anybody to resolve this matter. And we have given an assurance to the court that this case is going to be a test case when it comes to issues of dispute of directors in our country.
In the charge sheet, EFCC alleged Jude Okoye of dishonestly converting the sum of $767,544.15 to his own use, the sum which was paid by Lex Records Limited as payment for music digital distribution, publishing royalties, with intent to permanently deprive the complainant, Peter Okoye, his special interest in the property.
Arraignment of one of the three brothers that formed P-Square had just been concluded, and we informed the court that we had filed his bail application because, as you heard me say in court, it was just granted bail yesterday at the Federal High Court on certain conditions. So we wanted the court to adopt those conditions as his conditions for bail in this present one. But the prosecution said they needed to file a reply to our bail application that had been served on Friday. So what we had done now is that we've conceded to their right of filing a reply, and hopefully by Thursday, which is the 6th of March, we'll come back to argue the bail applications, and we're very hopeful we'll have his bail granted on very liberal terms.
The trial of the matter per se will commence from 16th of May this year at Special Offences Court in GRA Ikeja. From Lagos, this is Lebi Joseph reporting for Galaxy TV News.
Now to the story teased earlier, the Academic Staff Union of Universities has called on the National Assembly to reconsider the decision to scrap the Tertiary Education Trust Fund in the interest of educational development in Nigeria. The national president of the association, President Emmanuel Oshodeke, made the appeal in Abuja during a session with the Senate Committee on Tertiary Education.
We are saying this as follows. 1. Taking any percentage out of the short-term education fund to service another agency not known to TET fund at 2011 is illegal as at now and should not be allowed to stand. 2. Giving zero allocation of the development levy to TET fund as from 2030 is a technical way of abrogating the agency. The purported admonishment that TET fund should seek innovative ways of generating fund is spurious, ill-advised, because as the creation of an act, the institution should not die without the fund.
Professor Oshodeke posited that scrapping TET fund will have adverse effect on the education sector in Nigeria, noting that the National Assembly should rather find ways of encouraging the institution to do more for tertiary institutions in the country.
Annual support due to TET fund has substantially reduced industrial crisis in many tertiary institutions. Renovation of old facilities and provision of new ones, an opportunity for staff development leading to career advancement, have doused labor-related issues in many campuses. 6. TET fund impact not only tertiary education, but also the secondary down to kindergarten. It directly and or indirectly support the production of quality teachers and different categories of support staff in the entire educational system.
And other stories. On the 1st of March 2025, the newly revised ATM charges, as announced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, took effect. But how are Nigerians coping with the development? Our correspondent Matthew Jabike has more in this report.
The newly revised charges announced by the Central Bank of Nigeria on withdrawals took effect on the 1st of March 2025. The decision was geared towards improving access to cash, incentivize banks to provide better services, and ultimately support the financial inclusion agenda. ATM users from different walks of life are taking it diversely. The newly revised charges announced by the Central Bank of Nigeria on withdrawals took effect on the 1st of March 2025. The decision was geared towards improving access to cash, incentivize banks to provide better services, and ultimately support the financial inclusion agenda. ATM users from different walks of life are taking it diversely.
So it has affected me as a person because now one has to consider whether or not to keep his money right in his pocket than to take it back to the bank. Because when you take your money to the bank, the difficulty of trying to collect your money back is there. Because you now think about how much you're going to be paying to get your money out from the bank. So, I mean, personally, I'm having to make very difficult decision as to whether to keep my money in the bank or to keep it right in my pocket. And of course, when you keep your money in your pocket or at home, it has an attendant risk of you being robbed. They can come and burgle your house and all that. So
from when you lodge an amount in a bank and when you withdraw it, it's a double taxation and it's a double burden. So if somebody says that this thing does not affect him, then that person should be taken to a psychiatric and get examined. We have no choice, because when government made a policy, who are we to reverse it? Is it the people outcry and people protest that can make a government decide on a decision or a policy that has initiated? So we are at the receiving end. Everybody is suffering.
I don't have an account with them. So in order for me to be paying that 100 naira, and if you go to any ATM now to withdraw, the maximum get like 5,000 naira. So me withdrawing like 22 piece and charging me 100 naira. So I had to open an account with the bank that is closer to get the ATM. Actually, when I finish, mostly I do transfer. I don't pay with cash. So anything I want to do, transfer. And I use my card to pay.
Also, a POS operator, Babatunde Oladipupo, has this to say.
It's not every time bank will give us money. Sometimes we go to ATM to go and withdraw money. The charges is too much for us. That is that. That is the government that we are there. There's nobody there's something that nobody can do anything about it.
The development has forced ATM users to cut down on their shopping attitude. Matthew E. Jabike, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
Still in Lagos State, due to the closure of pedestrian bridge linking Terminal 2 and Terminal 3 at Oshodi, the alternative bridge is getting congested and the concerned pedestrians call for urgent attention. Galaxy TV's Matthew Jabike was there and now reports.
The deplorable state of the major pedestrian bridge at Oshodi bus stop, Lagos, led to a total closure by Lagos State government, making all pedestrians to use the alternative bridge. It was gathered that the former bridge, which links the terminals 2 and 3, was shaking and the structural concerns triggered the closure. However, pedestrians are clamoring for a quick renovation of the old bridge so as to reduce the number of people using the alternative bridge.
The present bridge is shaking, so we want federal government to renovate it. Kai, we saw them there the very day. They are using this one only, going and coming, and the power people passengers very much. So very soon this one will be shaking also. We want federal government to renovate it fast.
Also, Titilayo Nifemi, a trader, spoke with us in Yoruba, reiterating that the old bridge be repaired by the government as soon as possible.
They said the bridge is shaking. We also experienced it. It's been up to a month. My suggestion is that government should renovate this bridge so that we can use both bridges together so that the bridge can be durable.
An emergency call to the federal government to do the needful before things get out of hand. Matthew E. Jabike, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
And still in the commercial capital of Nigeria, the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASTMA, executed a swift and strategic intervention to forestall a looming disaster after a fully laden tanker transporting premium multi-spirit overturned, unleashing its volatile cargo across the main carriageway of the Oshodi-Gbagada Expressway directly opposite Trem Church. Acting with urgency, LASTMA operatives promptly condoned off the accident scene, neutralizing any potential escalation, particularly the perilous prospect of fuel skipping by unauthorized individuals. The agency immediately escalated the situation to the Lagos State Fire Service, whose emergency response team arrived expeditiously to mitigate the hazardous spill. To safeguard public safety and to ensure an unimpeded traffic flow, LASTMA personnel meticulously redirected vehicular movement to the service lane from Oshodi-Oke inbound Gbagada, effectively averting gridlock and mitigating ignition risks associated with fuel exposure. Similarly, a petrol tanker driver and the apprentice that accompanied the driver lost their lives as a result of an accident that occurred in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Galaxy News reports that the duo, whose names have not been revealed, lost their lives when the tanker carrying premium multi-spirit PMS, also known as petrol, exploded. The incident occurred in the early hours of Tuesday beside Total Filling Station Orita Challenge in Ibadan. Our correspondent learnt that the fire incident was as a result of brake failure when the driver was trying to negotiate the roundabout. The tanker hit the concrete, somersaulted, and caught fire. The General Manager, Oyo State Fire Service, Yemi Akinyinka, when contacted, confirmed the incident. He added that the fire incident was reported at exactly 5:01 a.m. on Tuesday. Immediately, the address was taken. The fire personnel led by ACF's Olubunmi Christie were promptly deployed to the scene of the incident. On arrival, it was a falling petrol tanker in front of a petrol station. The foam chemical compound was applied and the fire was put under control within a short period. The driver and the motorboy of the truck were burnt, recovered and handed over to the FRSC and conveyed to the hospital. Sierra Leone President Julius Maada Bio has charged African leaders to make agriculture that is driven with technology and innovation a tool to make the continent a sinecure of all. He said this at Ita in Ibadan during a 3-day working visit to the state. Galaxy News correspondent Shegun Falomo was at the event and brings us more.
The president of Sierra Leone, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, has said that research, innovation, and technologies will help to drive Africa's agriculture forward. He made this known during a 3-day working visit to Oyo State, held at the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture, IITA, Ibadan, which has the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, as the chief host. Dr. Maada Bio noted that food sufficiency must transverse economic boosts, adding that true partnership, collaboration with expertise will bring about progress for farmers and agribusiness.
I firmly believe that research, innovation, and technology are the forces that we must harness in order to drive Africa forward. These are essential components that will enable us to overcome traditional obstacles and hurdles and transform the future of Africa agriculture. This calls for strong partnerships, strategic investment, and quick adoption, which will not only secure the success of the individual nations, but also advance the entire continent.
In his remarks, the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, stated that the state is actively seeking to strengthen ties with the Sierra Leonean government to further enhance the capabilities of the established research-driven agricultural hub in the state. The initiative, according to the governor, is aimed at boosting agricultural productivity and sustainability by leveraging innovative research and best practices.
What we are doing is leveraging the African continental free trade area to expand our agricultural export pool and seek further partnership at both the national and subnational levels. So we will take steps to modernize our agricultural sector, enhance food security, and stimulate economic growth.
In his own reaction, the Minister for Agriculture, Abubakar Kyari, represented by Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Marcus Ogunbiyi, noted that the country has launched a $1.2 billion mechanization initiative across the country, calling for joint research stance for more sufficiency in Nigeria and West Africa.
Nigeria and Sierra Leone can collaborate in setting up joint agro-processing hubs, sharing best practices in food storage, and expanding cold chain logistics for perishable goods. One major thing that Nigeria is doing well is the input support to farmers. To boost agricultural productivity, Nigeria has implemented several initiatives to provide farmers with essential inputs.
Earlier, IITA Director General, Regional Director for Africa, Simon Efu, said through partnerships with research institutes could enhance food sufficiency, especially when well funded by government.
Across Africa, we have seen how improved crop varieties, soil fertility innovations, and climate-smart agricultural solutions have revolutionized farming. From cassava to maize, plantain to soybean, our research has directly improved productivity.
From Ibadan, Shegun Falomo reporting for Galaxy TV News.
Now to the southern region, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has said that his distractors cannot stop him from making Rivers people happy. The governor made the remarks while commissioning the State Fire Service Station in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. According to the governor, he said despite his distractors trying to discredit his administration, his major concern is that the people are happy with his government.
We read somewhere, and he said the purpose of governance is one only thing: make the people happy. And I believe strongly, even if some persons behind will want to say, look for a way to discredit us, Rivers people are happy. And that is the most important thing. We are not interested whether those people who are commissioned to undermine us are unhappy. That is not our business.
National Youth Service Corps has reiterated its commitment to the safety and well-being of Corps members deployed to Benue State to serve their fatherland, stressing that their security remains paramount. The state coordinator, Veronica Garuba, reaffirmed this commitment while stating that no Corps member has been posted to areas or communities with security challenges, stating that the withdrawal of Corps members 2 weeks ago was to ensure head count following misleading online report, stating that the attacked communities in Kwande local government area were near the Cameroonian border. The Benue NYC coordinator maintained that despite the security tips Corps members are equipped with, the NYC has never deployed Corps members, not even its staff, to places dubbed insecure, as they continue to work with security agencies, including the NYC board, for the safety of its own.
The NYC has a very good relationship with the security agencies. We relate very, very well. We have a collaboration. So most of the areas that we get to know that is not secured for the Corps members, we don't post Corps members to such areas. For a very long time now, Corps members have not been posted to Agatu area because of the security situation that we know around that area. So anywhere that we know is not secured, we don't post Corps members. We don't post Corps members to any area that we know is not secure for them.
The state coordinator, however, said the only challenge the NYSC has at the moment is a fear of erosion at orientation camp in Wayne before the next batch resumes, while hoping that state government fulfill its promises to assist after the protest stop midway to alleviate the challenges.
The orientation camp. Most of our structures are overstretched, and we have inadequate accommodation for staff and members, but we're still in talk with the state government.
Protesting youth from Edo State under the Ugu Youth for Developmental Change protested to the headquarters of the Nigerian Union of Journalists to the council over what they described as the commissioning of a non-existent road by the Minister of Regional Development. The youth, who were displaying placards with different inscriptions, called for a thorough investigation regarding the alleged non-existing road commissioned by the minister, who hails from the state. Speaking at the Edo NUJ Council headquarters in Benin City, the leader of the team said that the Abraka urban road said to have been commissioned by the minister is non-existent in the state. Responding, the chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists Edo Council, Comrade Festus Alenke, promised an independent investigation to unravel the true picture of the road.
I am here to lay our complaint over the commissioning of a non-existing Abraka urban road by the Minister for Regional Development, Honorable Engineer Abubakar Momo. With the members of Ugu Youth for Developmental Change, whose member cut across youth from over 13 communities in Ugu Ward. The names are written up there. We have Urewe, Oben, Igulaba, and Everon.
Responsibility to find out properly some of these allegations you have raised now. We are going to get across to the minister, who is from Edo State, to find out from him to say this is the information that is at our disposal, to say that you commissioned the project and that they said the project is not in existence. So we have the right to find that out. And lastly, I want to assure you, apart from finding out from the ministry, because we have heard from you.
The French government has assured the leadership of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) of more robust support in areas of training, capacity building and logistics to further boost the operational capability of the agency in its ongoing effort to curb the scourge of substance abuse and illicit drug trafficking. The assurance was given on Tuesday during a meeting between the French delegation led by Lieutenant General Régis Colcombe, Director of Security and Defense Cooperation at the French Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs, and the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA), Brigadier General Mohamed Buba Marwa, retired. At the agency's headquarters in Abuja, Lieutenant General Colcombe said the meeting with the NDLEA chairman and his team is a follow-up to bilateral agreement reached between President Emmanuel Macron of France and President Bola Tinubu of Nigeria during his recent state visit to Paris. He recalled that he also met with Marwa in a similar meeting in France about 2 years ago on areas of support for the NDLEA. Responding to requests on areas on more support for the agency, Lieutenant General, in his remarks, Marwa expressed delight in the advancement and growth of the relationship between Nigeria and France following good rapport between President Tinubu and President Macron. He added that that's provided a lot of leverage for NDLEA to deepen its relationship with its counterparts in France. He appreciated the support of the French government has been providing the agency while listing more areas of need for assistance. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. To stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now moving on with the rest of the stories. Operatives of the Nigerian Navy forward operating base Excavers have discovered and deactivated 3 illegal refining sites at Obodo in the Omadini community in Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State. The sites were laden with over 3,700 litres of stolen crude oil and 2,600 litres of illegally refined AGO contained in 5 ovens, 12 dugout pits and 33 polythene sacks. The successful operation, according to the Navy, was in support of the ongoing Operation Delta Sanity 2 and based on credible intelligence and commitment of the forward operating base Excavers to achieve the dictates of the strategic directives of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, to root out all forms of illegalities within the maritime environment. The commanding officer of Forward Operating Base Excavers, Navy Captain Ikena Ogolago, seized the opportunity to warn economic saboteurs in the oil sector to desist from illegal acts at the base would stop at nothing to deny them freedom of action and ensure that they are brought to justice. Now, contrary to speculations that the retired Controller General of Immigration, David Shifu, was killed by kidnappers, the Federal Capital Territory Command of the Nigeria Police Force has confirmed that the retired officer died in a hotel. According to a statement issued and signed by the command's public relations officer, SP Josephine Ade, and made available to our correspondent on March 3, 2025 at approximately 12 p.m., Paradang arrived at Joy House Hotel, Area 3 Junction, driving a black Mercedes-Benz. It added that the deceased checked into the hotel paying a sum of 22,000 naira for one night stay. It was gathered from the command that shortly thereafter, he directed the hotel room attendant to escort a female guest who had come to visit to his room, while the lady left the hotel premises around 4 p.m. of the same day. Reports from the police stressed that Paradang didn't exit his room after the lady left, and around 4 a.m. on 4th of March, a friend, a military officer, concerned for his well-being, traced him to the hotel. The command declared that effort is in top gear to effect the arrest of the lady. The FCT Police Command, however, urged the public and media outlets to refrain from spreading unverified information, including claims of kidnapping that might incite fear or panic. The Police Service Commission has approved the appointment of 6 Deputy Inspector General of Police. The newly appointed DIGs are Sadiq Abubakar, Commandant Police Academy, Budil Kano, Benjamin Okolo, AIG, Department of Information Communication Technology, Force Headquarters Abuja, and Willem Adebowale, Commandant Police Staff College, JAS. Bizu Bali, AIG FCID, Annex Enugu, Idrigu Basil, Ukoma, AIG Zone 14, Katsina, and Adebola in the Amzat, AIG Zone 16, Yenagua. A statement released on Tuesday by the PSA spokesperson, Ekichikoani, announced that the Commission also approved promotion of the Commissioner of Police, Enugu State Command, to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police. The Enugu State Police Command says it has recovered arms used by suspected armed robbers, while also arresting 7 suspects involved in conspiracy and armed robbery. The command spokesperson Daniel Undukwe, in a statement, said the suspects were arrested following credible intelligence and in response to a report received at the Unity Police Station. According to the police, the transfer of the case to the department detectives attached to the anti-robbery section led to the investigation and arrest of the 7 suspects. Items recovered from the suspects include SIMs and identity card, 1 pump-action gun, 2 locally made pistols with cartridges, 2 machetes, as well as stolen cloth. Now, we move to the international desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. The Ukrainian have voiced their shock and dismay at the U.S. posing its military aid to the country, what one politician called a dangerous situation. We'll see very soon the serious consequences, dangerous consequences, Alexander Mereshko, who chairs the Ukrainian Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, told newsmen on Tuesday. Mereshko said the pause could start having an impact on the ground as soon as in the coming days. Ukraine woke up to the news on Tuesday that the U.S. was pausing and reviewing its military aid. A White House official told newsmen that its reasons for doing so was to ensure that it is contributing to a solution. The president has been clear that he is focused on peace. We need our partners to be committed to that goal as well, the White House official added. While U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky have yet to comment, Ukraine's Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said his country is still willing to cooperate with the U.S. and reiterated Kyiv's gratefulness to Washington for their support to date. Some Ukrainian MPs, however, have come out to call the decision disastrous. China will fight to the bitter end of any trade war, the Foreign Ministry spokesperson in Beijing declared after China announced tit-for-tat tariff on agricultural imports from the U.S. This came within minutes of a new 10% U.S. levy on Chinese exports that came into effect on Tuesday, which adds to existing tariff both from Trump's first term and those announced last month. But China's latest retaliatory measures are an opening swing, not a direct punch. It shows some strength and it has the potential to sting parts of the United States, but also leave room to negotiate or escalate if necessary. This is the second round of tariffs the two countries have imposed on each other since February. But this time, China is hitting Donald Trump where it has the potential to hurt by targeting farmers who are some of his core supporters. China is one of their biggest customers for produce such as chicken, beef, pork and soybeans, and now all those products will face a 10 to 15% tax, which will come into effect on 10 March. The latest announcement raised the prospect of an all-out trade war between the world's top two economies, and in various ministry statements, China is making two things very clear. Firstly, it is continuing to fight, but secondly, it is also willing to talk. A young woman is due to testify in a Spanish court in a bid to persuade the judge to let her die voluntarily against the wishes of her father. In the first case of its kind, the 23-year-old woman who wants to end her life is paraplegic due to injuries suffered when she tried to take her own life in 2022. She has the support of the regional government of Catalonia after a local euthanasia guarantee and evaluation board unanimously supported the decision in July 2024. Euthanasia is the act to deliberately ending a person's life to relieve suffering. The woman was due to die in August, but the process was suspended at the last moment due to legal objections raised by her father, with the backing of the campaign group Christian Lawyers Abogados Cristianos. I felt misunderstood by my family. I feel alone and empty. This situation causes me a great deal of suffering, the woman has said, according to documents related to the case quoted by Spanish media. However, the woman's father has argued that she is suffering from a personality disorder which affects her judgment, and has pointed out to the obligation of the state to protect the lives of people, especially the most vulnerable, as is the case with a young person with mental health problems. Still on the international scene, an Indian woman who worked as a domestic helper in Abu Dhabi has been executed after she was convicted for killing her employer's baby. Shahzadi Khan was executed last month in Abu Dhabi, according to the Indian government. Khan's family has maintained that she was innocent and that the 4-month-old died from an incorrect vaccination. They also alleged that Khan did not get adequate representation during her trial. Khan, 33, had moved to Abu Dhabi in 2021 to work for an Indian family as a caregiver. The baby was born the following year. According to Khan's father, she would call our family back in the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh and show them the infant over video call, but the call soon stopped and the family later learned that Khan was in jail. According to Khan's family, the baby had died on 7 October 2022 and Khan was arrested weeks later. An Abu Dhabi court executed the Indian domestic worker for killing the infant. A family member who maintained she was innocent owed a portrait in which she can be seen wearing a black scarf. The domestic worker's family claimed she was innocent. A Scottish Sikh man detained in India for 7 years on terror charges has been cleared in one of 9 cases against him. Jagtar Singh Joel from Dumbarton was arrested in 2017 in the country's northern Punjab region, weeks after his wedding there. He has been held in prison ever since, on trial for his alleged role in a series of targeted killings of religious and political figures. Now, a verdict in the district court in Moga, Punjab has acquitted him of conspiracy under the country's anti-terror law and of being a member of terrorist gang. His legal team says the allegations against Joel in all the cases for which he faces the death penalty are close to identical and that the other charges should not be dismissed. His brother, Juprat Singh Joel, has called on the UK government to secure the 38-year-old release. A spokesperson for the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office welcomed the progress in the case. The UK government remains committed to working for faster progress on Jacta's case, and the FCD will continue to work to support Joel and his family, it added. Lastly, on the international scene, the world's largest iceberg has run aground in shallow waters off the remote British island of South Georgia, home to millions of penguins and seals. The iceberg, which is about twice the size of Greater London, appeared to be stuck and should start breaking up on the island's southwest shores. Fishermen fear they will be forced to battle with vast chunks of ice, and it could affect some macaroni penguins feeding in the area. But scientists in Antarctica say that huge amounts of nutrients are locked inside the ice, and that as it melts, it could create an explosion of life in the ocean. Ecologist Mark Belchier, who advises the South Georgia government, said if it breaks up, the resulting icebergs are likely to present a hazard to vessels as they move in the local currents and could restrict vessels' access to local fishing grounds. The stranding is the latest twist in an almost 40-year story that began when the mega chunk of ice broke off in the Flinchner Run ice shelf in 1986. And that's it from the international scene.
And that is all we have for you. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Ziriba Mr. Lako. Goodbye.